Hi, everybody.
Всем привет. Everybody can learn that.
Yeah, by this point, probably even.
Привет, друзья. И
Добро пожаловать на...
добро пожаловать на мой podcast.
Okay.
I listen, there's a guy on YouTube named Russian with Max. And so I watch him. And that's the way he always starts his podcast.
Okay, I think we can start the class. Welcome to class 10. This is the last class in this series in ACI 5, how karma works.
Are we entirely sure? There might be, it looks like there's some additional material in class 11 that we haven't covered.
We will do class 11 later. Usually we do. Actually, we still owe class 11 for ACI 3 and 4.
Oh, maybe we'll just have one marathon day.
Yeah, maybe one. Then nobody will show up as translators to us anymore.
But at least we can say we did it.
Okay, so it's a great class, and we were studying like all the things like definition of karma, where it is stored, like what are the laws, how to enhance your actions to bring the results faster. What else did we study? About ethical principles, why it is important to understand them, and what like why it is a GPS. I mean, for me, it is like I'm waking up in the morning and I observe what's going on, like even when I watch the news, I'm bless you, my love, have allergic to ethical principles, or to me.
The winter's catching up with me.
Yeah, we are a little bit sick, but definitely we can do the class. And it's like GPS. I'm watching the news and analyzing. Okay, this is because I broke this ethical principles. This is because I broke this ethical principles. And right away in your mind, you can think how you can fix it. Or at the very least, if you cannot fix it right away, you can regret it, right? That you see what you see in the news if you are unhappy with what's going on. And you can think about something good that you have done opposite to what's happening. Like if there is a war, you can think about helping people to meet each other, or connecting people, something like that. So, and by the class 10, we have studied all the things except the most important one. How to make karma work for you, that you would not be forced to wait for 1,000 years until it will ripen, but to see the results as soon as you can. And you can. And sometimes it looks like everything is a disaster, like life is just falling apart. Falling apart.
Great English phrase.
Yeah. Do not forget that it is falling apart right here and now. Maybe will not be falling apart tomorrow anymore, because karma is changing instantly. Like I'm snapping my fingers and there are already 65 new karmic seeds ripening. So in the world that is coming out of your seeds and that is constantly changing, there is no any reason to get upset about anything.
I'm upset.
Yeah, but you do not have any reason.
No, I don't like what's going on in the world. There's lots of things I don't like.
Yeah.
I'm upset. No, but the thing is, that's what I was
But
thinking.
being upset is negative coffee meditation, you see?
Well, I would say that if you're upset and then you're motivated to do something about it, then that's a virtuous upset. Oy,
I disagree with this
go ahead and disagree.
because any upset is upset.
It's interesting. One of the definitions of a negative karma is anything that disturbs your peace of mind. Anything,
Right.
anything.
There is
So-
only one negative emotion that is virtuous,
Disliking samsara,
regretting your bad deeds.
regretting your bad days. Okay, yeah.
Okay,
So
motivation.
well, okay, yeah, I'm going with motivation. It's my turn to go motivation.
Okay, go ahead.
This class is about happiness, right? All these courses are about happiness. And so, you could say you could do all of these courses in 30 seconds.
Be happy.
Be kind. I mean, did that take 30 seconds? That's less than 30 seconds. Yeah, be
That's
kind to
3.
others. Be kind. Yeah, just be kind. 2 words. Just be kind. The problem is then, or the challenge is like, well, okay, well, how do you do that and why? Well, why? Well, okay, because of karma. And then why does karma work? Well, because of emptiness. And now you're having a real discussion. It gets to be more complex rapidly, right? Like if you can't just go with a simple be kind, then you have to dig a little deeper. And I mean, frankly, we all have to dig a little deeper because we have a wrong idea about all of these things, right? Like every single thought we ever have as a human before we see this process directly is mistaken. And so that's why we talk about the 5 of this and this 7 of that, and use technical terms so that we can understand these things, so that we can be happy.
Yeah.
And it's really, actually, it's quite fun. I mean, I enjoy it, and it's fun talking with people also. We went out, Ina and I went out with our son last night to a restaurant, and professional people our age were there taking their kids out to dinner, and they're like, honestly, I mean, I'm just be completely honest. I don't think I'd have much to say to any of them, right? Because unless they wanted to talk about karma and emptiness, because this is what's really going to solve the problems, right? It's how you're going to be happy. It's not just a distraction.
On the other hand, I bet every single one of them has problems.
Oh yeah, but that's
And this class could help them to overcome their problems.
yeah, she's much better at reaching out to people at home. It yeah, eventually it doesn't make a difference who they are, or whether things are working in their life or not working in their life. Eventually, if you're going to solve your problems, you're going to have to look at this stuff, right? You're going to have to understand the process.
I was thinking today that we mostly do these ACI classes with no Tibetan prayers, right?
Mhm.
Because originally Geshe Michael was teaching, he would start with, idam guru ratna mandalam kamniri atayame, etc. And consciously, we try not to do anything weird here, because I honestly think that these teachings, they can be explained in a very easy language anybody can understand. And if we add prayers, I mean, for a small group of students, I think I would be willing to add prayers because they are cool. But when you add something in foreign language, already you push away some audience, right?
Yeah.
So this is why we do this kind of meditation / motivation in the beginning. That is exactly what you do with the prayers.
Mhm.
Close your eyes, sit up straight, make several exhales, inhales to come to here and now. And think about your life right now. Especially about your challenges, your fears, pain. Is there any suffering in your life and how it looks like? And make a decision to do an honest attempt to apply these teachings, to change your own world, stop your own sufferings, your own pain, become a happy person, ultimately happy person, and to help everybody else to reach the same. Things they do not have to be suffering. They should be happy. And even the suffering that you have is temporary. And you can fix it. Go back to your breathing, open your eyes. You can fix it because of karma and emptiness. And this course is about karma. And the next course, ACI 6, that we still have to decide on the dates, probably it will be in June, will be about emptiness. And it's a big one.
March, April, May, all the way to June.
May or June.
All right.
Okay, so this is probably the most important class in this course because we were, yeah, I know.
I do.
Because we were building up, right? And like we were learning many things about karmic seeds, about storage, about like different kinds of karma. And this class is how actually to make use of it, how to apply it. Like you want to do something in your life for yourself or for other people, how to make your karma ripening faster, how to make you see results faster. And Geshe Michael is brilliant and genius because he is giving all kinds of suggestions here. These are not his suggestions, they are all straight from Abhidharma Kosha. And the highest school is totally in agreement with Abhidharma Kosha on this matter.
Yeah, I guess by the time he was teaching this course, he'd probably been with Ken Rinpoche for close to 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, because he had to be in his 40s when he was doing this.
Over 20 years.
Yeah, over 20 years. And so it's impressive. He was reading the text in the Tibetan, which, if they're not easy in English, right? It's super impressive that he was reading it in Tibetan, particularly considering how few teachers there were that could teach Tibetan clearly. So anyway, impressive.
Okay.
Okay, so these are things. What we're going to discuss today is how to make your actions ripen faster, so your good actions ripen faster, so that you can get the result this lifetime. And frankly, when I first heard this, I was skeptical because traditionally you would see them talking about the minimum motivation for a Buddhist practitioner would be working for a better rebirth, right? Traditionally, they would say that the best you could do would be to hope, to be working for some better result in your next life. Well, and then, Geshe said, Americans are too impatient for that. Which is, it's true, right?
Unlike Indians.
Yeah, Indians would probably, they seem to be more patient, right?
Accepting.
Yeah, I would, maybe a little too patient.
Too much.
Yeah, it was funny. Well, when we were in India, we'd drive past and there would be just people just sitting in a field, like they'd just stop wherever they were and just sit. I don't know what they were doing, but anyway, but I was skeptical at first. Results in this lifetime, and then I've been at it 25 years now, and I would say, yeah, it's possible. It's possible to get a big result in this lifetime, and frankly, that's what the higher teachings are about: is how to get enlightened in one lifetime, right? And so, in order for that to happen,
you have to accept that it can happen in one lifetime.
Yeah, that it's that things change, right? And it's not like you're going to go from being just normal, like there's a progression, right? And so some of these things that we're going to touch on here today are going to be emphasized much further in the advanced courses. And I think what you'll see personally as you do this is that everybody's different, right? Some things are easier for other people. Some people show up and they meet the love of their life in junior high school, and they're never separated from them. Other people struggle with a partner their whole entire life. And so people come in to this world with slightly, different set of mental seeds. And what I think you'll find is that the areas that you're already strong in will be the ones that are easy to see a result, like 6 months, pretty clearly.
Yeah, strange enough, if you can reach results somewhere better and somewhere you're just bumping your head against the wall again and again, right? It doesn't mean that karma works here and does not work there.
Yeah.
The thing is that we do not see how many obstacles we could create, and it becomes more obvious the more you study these teachings.
And as you would expect, right? If you're having a problem with some area, health or relationships or financial difficulties, it's probably going to take a little longer than areas where you're already strong at. Now you've got more work to do. So we're going to discuss how to speed that process up so that you can get rid of your problems as quickly as
Okay.
as possible. Okay, we ready?
So yeah, we're ready. So the main thing is you get what you give, right, in these teachings. And giving in Tibetan is jinpa. If we have slides, we can probably start showing them, which I don't know if we do. Yeah, we do. Thank you. So jinpa is Tibetan for giving. Yeah, this is an AI image with a Buddhist stupa.
It looks AI, doesn't it? How many? Because you always count the fingers, right? With AI, it looks like they're getting better because it looks like a normal amount of fingers, more or less.
Yeah, don't worry, 100% AI, nothing real, only fake. So, okay, and there are 4 kinds of giving. You want to know this?
Yeah, this one. So these are broken down into categories based on who's doing the giving and who's receiving it. And it was a little, I mean, frankly, the discussion was a little confusing in class if you've listened to Geshe Michael's class. So the first one, giving for your own benefit. This would be where you're the only person who's going to benefit. And so this is a normal, and the types of people that they're going to be talking about will be people who have not had the direct perception of emptiness, just normal people, Aryas who have had the direct perception of emptiness, and Buddhas, the people who are fully enlightened. And so those are the 3 types of people. And so the first category would be a normal person who's not had the direct perception of emptiness, making an offering to something like a statue of Jesus, or the Virgin Mary, or like making an offering to a stupa or something like that. And so
like this guy with the flowers.
Yeah, so there he is, and he's going to make an offering. He's going to lay some flowers at the base of a stupa, and the stupa doesn't need the flowers. So it's not going to directly benefit the stupa, but it will benefit him, because as he's the guy who's giving it, the ordinary person who's giving it, because as he's doing it, he's hoping for, it's an act of refuge, right? He's hoping for some kind of positive result by laying some flowers at the feet of something holy. And by holy, I mean something that's helped people in an ultimate way. So that's giving for your own benefit, because you're a normal person and you're the only person who benefits from that. The second type of giving is giving which benefits the other. And so this is when an Arya, when somebody who has had the direct perception of emptiness gives something to somebody who has not had the direct perception of emptiness. Geshe calls them, he used to call them children. Now he calls them infants. Hope we keep going backwards.
He was also saying that it's like an amoeba comparing to not only a human but an Einstein.
Yeah. Well, you could imagine, right? If you were truly omniscient, humans would look, like an amoeba, right? Just almost helpless.
Yeah, children, not only children, but children who are declined to some kind of aggression, like violent children.
One thing I should go back and clarify on this first giving, the giving where it only benefits yourself. Geshe has a discussion about different types of being, and in there he starts to talk about people who meditate have reached a high level of meditation. And so what he's talking about there is that there are the people in the desire realm, right, who can do this kind of giving. Human being in the desire realm here, where we're mostly motivated by food and sex. But then people in the form realm, right, beings who have gotten up to the form realm, have a high level of meditation. They could also do this. They could make an offering at an altar. Beings in the formless realm, I don't know that they could, because there's nothing for them to offer to.
They don't have form.
Yeah, they don't have shapes. form. So I don't know that they could make this kind of an offering. And I think that's what I think that's what that discussion was about. It was frankly a little bit confusing there, and a little bit confusing in the notes about what he was talking about. So, and so that's the first one. So the second one, giving for the benefit of others, that's an Arya. They've already seen their enlightenment. That's one of the things that happens when you have the direct perception of emptiness. Like you see the day that you're going to get enlightened. You're definitely on a track where you're going to get out of samsara, and you know it. And so that person, when they're giving to a normal person, a child, that's strictly for the benefit of the child. The Arya already knows they're going to get out. The third type of giving is benefits both the self by giving. And this is when a normal person, a child, gives to another child. So in that case, here, have a pen. Okay. And so she gets a pen, and I get the karma of having given a pen. And so we both benefit from that situation. She needed a pen, and I will need pens in the future. So by giving, we've both benefited, which is, it's interesting because a lot of business people think that transactions are zero sum. And by that, I mean that there's like only one pen. And so there's no adding anything, right? It's zero sum. So like if I give a pen, then I've lost a pen, right? She's plus one pen, I'm minus one pen. The sum is zero. It's a zero sum game.
It does not on.
Yeah, there's no benefit to me from having done that. All that's happened is I've lost a pen. And that's really that kind of ignorance is at the root of all of our problems. And so this is a pretty important point, giving which benefits both. And we know because cause and effect relationship, there's a multiplying factor. So if I give the pen, she gets one, and I get 10, 100. You'll see. I keep
depending on how good you are in coffee meditation.
Well, and that's some of the stuff that we're going to talk about is, okay, so I give a pen, well, I don't want 10 back, I want 100 back, right? Or I give $1 and I give a $10 bill, and I don't want $12 back 100 years from now, right? I want $1,000 back, well, right now. So that's a little fast, right? But like, you want 100, if you give $10, you want $100 back as soon as possible. And so then we're going to talk a bit more about how to make that happen, but benefit both the self and others. So this is both people benefit, and actually the giver is going to benefit more. Which if people, I've been thinking a lot about the problems in the world and what we could do to fix it. And this one idea, right? Oh my gosh, if people really understood this,
they can fix anything.
Oh my gosh, yeah, how powerful would it be if people really understood this, right? I mean, how much ignorance would be eliminated just with that one idea, that the giver is actually going to benefit more than the recipient from a positive action.
Yeah, but I was thinking, okay, I cannot teach like 8 billion people about it, right?
Well, it doesn't work like that. Yeah, you don't have to knock on doors and like convince every last person.
We are not Jehovah's Witnesses, right?
Yeah, the Mormons were famous for doing that in the United States.
Yeah, we cannot do it. We are prohibited from missionarying. So the word Buddhism does not exist in Tibetan. There is no such a word, Buddhism, in
Yeah,
Tibetan.
yeah. This was fascinating because the label Buddhism, it's coming from a Christian perspective where Christians are going to call themselves Christians. And so if they call themselves, followers of Jesus Christ as Christians, then followers of Buddhist must be
Buddhist.
Followers of Buddhism, of Lord Buddha must be Buddhist. But this was really fascinating. Their own name for themselves is
Nanchu,
Nanchu.
which is inner changes.
Yeah. So if
you can change only this thing, it will be enough. You change just yourself and apply everything you will learn during this class, because this is the class how to make your karma more powerful. And that's it, you're done.
And if you remember the discussion from the Mind Only School, which I've been really enjoying the Mind Only School lately, everything's coming from you, right? Like all the shapes, colors, forms, sounds, everything you're experiencing with your 5 sense consciousnesses, it's all coming from you, right? It's all a mental seed that you've planted. And so change your mind.
Yeah, you make changes here, and then you just enjoy watching how the world changes.
It's literal. I mean, I'm a little reluctant to say change your mind and you change the world, because it became kind of one of those internet memes, right? But it's not just a good idea, it's literal. And so that's why you can change your world, because it's your bad dream anyway. Just dream a better dream.
Yeah, and wake up.
Yeah. Okay. So we were discussing, and by the way, my bad dream too, right? I look out and see ugly things in the world that I want to change, which is why I'm doing this.
So we said that Daki Dunchir, when normal person gives to a shrine or somebody else.
You can read the Tibetan straight there instead of off the notes. It's better.
I actually like notes better,
okay,
but
well,
that's
there you
fine.
Go. That's the way we have both. There you go. There's the notes.
Yeah, then we talked about Shendun Chir, which is Arya given to a normal person, right? And the others benefit. And we talked about Nike Dunchir, both benefit. Here is normal being or a realized being who is not yet freed from desire, gives something to another living being. And then nobody is benefiting. For example, a realized being who is free of desire for the desire realm makes an offering to a shrine or another realized being. So nobody is benefiting because they don't need anything.
Yeah, so that's a Buddha giving to a Buddha, right? So they've already accomplished everything. So when one Buddha gives to another Buddha, they already have everything. So it kind of raises the question, well, okay, if they have everything, why bother giving them anything? I mean, I'll be honest, I don't know.
But this is the trick, right? They don't need it, you need it.
Well, okay, but that's different, right? That's like me as an ordinary person giving to a Buddha. Well, okay, yeah, I have stuff I need, right? So then that would actually be very intelligent to give to a Buddha, even though they don't need it. They're an extremely powerful cause and effect object. And so then, it's very strong, like, if I wanted to help other people, well, like make an offering to a Buddha, and then I would get more, and then I could help other people more. But then a Buddha giving to a Buddha, oh, they already have everything they need. And then it's interesting because.
But this is about desire realm, right?
Yeah, well, and we've been having a discussion about, well, no, in the class, he was very specifically saying Buddha to a Buddha. And so then, I don't know, I don't, Buddhas, are beyond time, right? Like they're not stuck in a linear understanding of time. They see all the past, all of what there is of the present, and all of the future in a single instant. They're aware of all of it. And so it's not really, they're not even taking action. And so I think this is coming out of the Abhidharma Kosha.
Yeah, maybe
And so,
I was thinking that maybe in higher schools they look at this one differently.
yeah, so this is to call it the lower school, it doesn't seem quite right. I would say the entry level school to Buddhism, because it's still extremely profound.
Mhm.
They're still very much aware of the lack of a self to things, and the cause and effect relationship. So anyway, I mean, it's fun to think about, particularly, well, anyway, we were having a discussion with people in Sedona a couple of weeks ago about this, about, what does it mean to be a Buddha? So anyway, that's that. Second one, but nobody benefits because Buddhas gave to another Buddha and they already have everything.
Okay. Again, the difference is first, Dake Dunchir, I benefit.
So the first one,
means I'm given to another.
I can summarize this quickly.
Okay.
Number one, normal person giving to some kind of holy and inanimate object. Normal person to a temple. First one. The second one is
Shendunchir
to
another.
Is an Arya giving to a non-Arya. Okay. First one was normal person to an inanimate object. Second one is an Arya to a normal person. The third one is a normal person to a normal person. And then the fourth one is a Buddha to a Buddha. And so they leave out a couple possible combinations, but I don't know why, and we're not going to discuss it.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to more practical stuff. How to make this giving more powerful. Okay, we are desire realm beings, right? We want to get our results as quickly as we can.
Food and sex, right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, if you are stuck in desire realm, which you are, if you are human, then your main preoccupations are food and sex, the definition of a person in a desire realm. Even if you do not think so, we tend to be a little bit, how to say, forgiving to ourselves and ignore our faults, like
we can
weak points.
We can be a little bit oblivious to.
Yeah, thank you. So, okay. So how to make the giving or whatever we do to other people more powerful to get the results quicker? There are very tricky and specific, very cool ways to get what you want faster.
So, I mean, we've discussed this in previous courses a bit, and you can take something like if you see a worm that's on the sidewalk in the summer after a rain, and then you pick it up and you put it back in the grass, and so it can go back into the dirt. Well, you've done something good. You've protected life. You've saved a worm. It's a lot more powerful if your mom is sick or ill and you do something to save her life, right? Well, like dramatically more powerful. And that's pretty obvious to see. But then how do you refine it more than that? I mean, okay, so a worm on your mom, that's pretty obvious, right? But like, if you're really wanting to be serious about making the most powerful action possible, what else do you have? And that's where this list is going to come into.
Okay, so first, there are 7 qualities of the giver or of a person who is acting that make this karmic result more powerful. and they are very tricky. I mean, honestly, I would never be able to understand it unless somebody would explain it to me. And they are all like, they are what realized beings are rich for, right? This is what they have as their jewel, as their precious gift or quality. This is why it is called seven riches of realized beings, Pakpe Nordun.
And one point here that I'd like to make is they call it the seven riches of the Aryas, and or of realized beings, and it doesn't mean that it's only for Aryas. It means that if these are qualities that a realized being would have as they were doing these things, and so then we can try to be like this. These are things to emulate. So they're still for normal people, even though it's like the seven riches to be like an Arya. You could almost say it, right?
We can learn from Aryas.
Yeah, yes. It's seven things you can learn from Aryas, or seven things to emulate and to be like an Arya.
Why we want to emulate? Because it increases the power of your deed, and you will get your karmic seed power increased. So the first one is Depa. Depa is a funny thing because it is probably one of the words that is misunderstood by 90% of translators and by also Buddhists, right? Especially if you come from another religion originally, because it is translated as face. It actually does not mean face. Because what it means is that you have checked somebody, you have observed, and then based on your logic, you came to a conclusion that this person is trustable. I can listen to what he says, or maybe not, and then it will be no Depa. So Buddhist faith is not at all like I just blindly believe in something. Like the name of our favorite vegetarian restaurant is called
Spirit Elephant?
Blind Faith.
Okay,
yeah. Because blind faith for me is not spiritual. It should never be blind. You should know the qualities, understand them, admire them, and after you checked that the person really has the qualities and you want to become like this person, you may think, oh, okay, I will study with them.
Yeah, the idea that I should accept somebody's religious opinion simply because somebody else said so, that always bothered me. Yeah, the idea of blind faith at being something virtuous. Like, well, yeah,
it's not blind at all here.
Yeah.
So you open your eyes, you watch a person, whoever you decided to listen to, and you have to spend some time analyzing. And everything you hear from us, please don't believe us. Analyze it, think about it, meditate, do analytical meditations, observe other people's behavior, and then make your conclusions. Otherwise, blind faith is the weakest faith you can ever find.
And so faith here, in terms of giving, means that you have a faith in somebody else, an admiration for them. Like you could pick a historical figure like Jesus Christ, or you could pick somebody that was close to you that you knew who had done a lot of good for other people. I mean, Geshe Michael has been extremely generous over his life. But there are other people too, like John Brady has, and Connie are really fantastic examples of people who have been generous and devoted their lives to helping other people. And you could simply say something like, faith in terms of this means I would like to be like them. I would like to be more like that. I have faith that what they're doing is making the world be a better place. They have been extremely good at it, and I would like to be more like them.
And you follow these steps for giving because you heard something from a person like that.
Yeah. And you could see how, like, that kind of, this is almost like an aspiration, right? Like, I want to be like them. And you can see how, like, you could pick some, like, the historical Buddha. I would like to be like the historical Buddha, right? And just the desire
Not
to.
many people want to be like Jesus.
Well, yeah, he kind of had a rough ending, didn't he? I think
this is why.
Well, I think in Christian terms, it would be sacrilegious to say I want to be like Jesus because he's better than us. And then it gets to be complicated because there's also the idea that you're going to enter into union with God. And so then that's a different discussion. We can go on. We can go on.
What I wanted to say that the faith is not only about a person, to maybe you have your teacher, but it's also about these teachings. You kind of lean on these teachings, right? And you should not have blind faith in this material. You should have logic behind your faith, and this is what they call depa. Okay. So you have this depa to somebody or to Abhidharma Kosha, to these qualities, to this list, because you think maybe it's worth reading it. Then what happens? You should have morality or ethics. Tsultrim, yeah. Depa, then Tsultrim. It means that if you just avoid hurting other people, it will bring your karmic results faster and stronger. You yourself become a person who can grow your karmic results faster. You change yourself basically by avoiding this deeds.
It's interesting because and I think I'm comfortable with this idea that if you have somebody who is really diligently, really strongly avoiding, the 10 non-virtues, killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, harsh words, divisive speech, idle talk, anger, jealousy, and ignorance. If somebody is avoiding those 10 things and they do something simple like give somebody a sandwich, that action is that person's result will be stronger than somebody, let's say that they've been actively engaging in all those 10 non-virtues. That just a real criminal. And they give somebody a sandwich. Well, their result is going to be dramatically less than the person who's keeping their virtue, which is right, because it's in the moment. But there's something about the virtue that is overall. Yeah, we got 40 minutes.
Okay, Tonva. Giving, Tonva is actually translated as giving, or here it's generosity. It means if you give, don't be stingy. Don't think that, oh, I will have less. And also, I remember myself a little bit younger. I'm not sure I overcame already completely this mental attitudes, but I was thinking, okay, I will give what I don't need. I will not give from the stuff that I need myself. I will give from what I do not need. And of course, this giving is less powerful because, as Geshe Michael usually say, give from the main pool, not from the leftovers. Then your giving will be responsible. Don't give more than you think is reasonable, because otherwise you will regret, and it will make it like it's worse than even not to give at all if you regret it. Tupa, learning.
About learning. This was fun. Just straight classroom hours. The more time you've spent studying these teachings, the more that you understand, the more powerful your actions become. And that makes sense too. You know, as you're getting to be, you know, there's a path, right? You know, there's a path out of our suffering. And by sitting here in class, we're walking further down that path. And so it makes sense as you're getting closer, even if we're still normal beings, as you're getting closer to becoming an Arya or a enlightened being, you're becoming more powerful, right? Like a Buddha is extremely powerful. Yeah. An Arya is somebody who is inevitably going to become a Buddha. And so as we're getting closer to becoming an Arya, we also are becoming more powerful. Our actions become more powerful.
Yeah, I remember Geshe Michael told me then when I will start teaching the pen, my 4 steps will just take off really, I mean, really strongly. And I was like, you know, teach the pen, you know, that nothing is the way it looks like, that it does not come this way, that it comes this way. And okay, then if you know the pen, then decide what you want, find the person, create a plan, do what you decided to help this person, and then be happy. Admit that you have done this thing and be happy. I was like, really, it will work? It will work. And if you have doubts, maybe for you, it's time to learn the 18 points of correct teaching of the pen.
And those 4 that she just listed through, people, get it right here, like the 4 that she just listed, the 4 that she just listed through, for people familiar with DCI, those are the famous 4 steps. For ACI students, you know, we covered those in a previous class.
The path of karma.
A complete path of karma. That's how you make an action. That's how
you plant a seed.
How you plant a strong seed.
Okay. So, and here, like, so it is important to learn more and more about the mechanism, how karma works. It will make your deeds more powerful, just learning. The funny thing is, Geshe Michael, in his original class, he was talking about Jetson Kappa, that he was thinking that he made a lot of progress with these teachings, Tupa.
Yeah, that was a funny conversation.
And he has seen, he went to this Lama Umapa, who was a shepherd and who was famous for talking with Manjushri. And he asked him, like, do you think, ask Manjushri, if I am more Svatandrika or Prasangika?
Yeah, he asked Umapa, well, ask Manjushri, like, Umapa, please go ask Manjushri.
Ask in your mind.
Yeah, well, but you know, he was talking with Manjushri, you know, like, so ask Manjushri how good my understanding of emptiness is.
Am I more Prasangika or still Svatandrika?
Yeah, which is, you know, the 2 divisions of the highest school. And
Umapa said, neither one of them.
Yes, I mean, forget it.
Go and study more. So don't be scared that you have to study. Even the famous Tsongkhapa was embarrassed at this point. Okay, 3 more. Notsa Shepa is you avoid bad deeds because of yourself, because you have shame. Trel-Yupa. Trel-Yupa is it's translated here conscious. It's actually, it is the word that does not exist in English. This is why they struggled how to translate it. They said that it is because you are considerate because of other people.
Yeah.
Совесть.
Bezsovesty. Don't ask me why I know that word.
I'm telling to Bill that it's unfair that I was blamed all my childhood that I don't have the thing that does not exist in his language at all.
It means bezsovesty means being inconsiderate.
Yeah, you do not
That's the
care about other people.
It's the Russian word for being inconsiderate. So shame, and again, these two are related to somebody keeping their morality, right? Shame means like
I don't want to see myself being bad.
The nyotsa shape up. Nyotsa shape up. That means that I'm in a room by myself. There's some money on the table. I could steal it and nobody would know I did it. But I'm not going to steal that money because
feels uncomfortable.
Because I know that it's not right. Nobody's going to catch me, but I'm still not going to do it because I know that it's not right. And then Trilya consideration would be, okay, the money's on the table and people are watching me. And I could take it and they couldn't stop me, but I'm not going to do it because
somebody will suffer from it.
Yeah. That's a better way to put it. So that I'm not, I could hurt somebody to do this, to take this money, but I'm not going to do it because I don't want to hurt them.
Yeah, and the last one, share up, is the easiest because I understand selflessness. We call emptiness selflessness in this school, because I understand that nothing comes from anything else than my seeds. Of course, I don't do anything weird. I do this generosity, the act of generosity, with full power. Okay.
So those were all qualities of the giver. This is the person doing the giving. Those 7 things all related to that part of it. And there's 3 sections here. There's the giver, the act of giving itself, and the third one would be the person or thing received. So now we're going to talk about the actual action. So we talked about the giver. Now we're going to talk about the action of giving.
And then the receiver.
Yep. So what can you do?
First, I want to answer the question because people are motivated to study now the 18 points of the pen.
Oh,
don't worry, we will give to your group leaders and they will share in the chats. You will get and you can learn it and you will be perfect in it and you will get a lot of new understandings when you will try to present the pen yourself.
Yeah, this was something where I think, 15 years ago, I would have said, well, what can we have as a better example in the pen? Like, what would be a better example? I've heard the pen so many times.
The better example is the two husbands in the kitchen.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't have come up with that as an example.
And we will ask also our group leaders to publish the funny video that we shoot because Master Bill was a wife. I was one of the husbands.
Has that been made public yet? Have we?
It is. It's on my YouTube channel. You can find it in the McMichael YouTube channel. I don't have many followers yet there, so you can be the first one.
One of the first.
One of the first.
And so, but the example of the pen is, it's still solid. It's really, it's.
Okay.
And learning the 18 points in the way that Geshe Michael has laid them out it's useful. He's really refined each step of that. And so it's worth your time to go look up the 18 steps of the pen. It's not just, dog and a human, there's some subtle points that are in there.
Yeah. Okay. So, what are the three qualities of giving that make it powerful? First, you do it out of respect to another person, which is strange, right?
Well,
I mean, I can see a beggar, I don't respect them, right? I think, oh, they are lazy, they do not work, and I constantly have struggle. We have a lady with her child, like a child is really young, and she comes to backlot and our coffee place, and she sits there and she's waiting, and I always hesitate, should I give or not? Should I give or not? And this is what is helping me, right? So if I decide to give, then I should have respect to her.
Yeah, it's particularly in the United States, you see people on the streets begging, and which is, horrible. And it's easy to imagine that if you give out of genuine kindness, if you give not judging the person, because really, what do you know of that person other than the fact that they're sitting there asking for money? We don't know a fraction of 1%
I
of
was
their
thinking I should
of their
talk to
life.
her.
Yeah, and even if you did, you still wouldn't know much about their life, right? And so if you gave out of kindness, the action would be more powerful than if you were like, gave and like made an ugly face at them and were irritated. So
second is you do not give like I remember myself once I decided to make a birthday present to my mom. So I bought a nice pearl, how you call it? Necklace. That was perfect for my new blue dress. So not sure my mom really needed the necklace, but I needed. So this is how I did it. Don't do like that. Give people what they really need.
That's funny.
If you don't know, ask them. They will tell you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Third is don't give what can harm. I mean, if I see that a person is probably going to get drunk, like I will give money and the person looks like a drug addict or alcohol addict, maybe it is better not to give anything. Or can you think about something
one
else?
of my friends, he used to say that humans are so ignorant that they're like chimpanzees with a hand grenade, right? And so like like monkeys with a little bomb, and they're just so it wouldn't be helpful to give a hand grenade to a chimpanzee. Yeah, you gave him something. So not really the best thing to do. But I think on a more like what else would it be like? If the subject that came up in class is, when you see somebody on the street that's begging and you know that they're an alcoholic and they're sitting outside the liquor store and you know that they're going to go and spend the money on alcohol. Have you helped them if you give them, $10 and they just go buy alcohol? Have you helped them? And then there was a bit of debate about that,
you are responsible for money you give. The money can be or whatever you give. It can be misused. And I never donate to like charities that I cannot really check how they spend their money, because then I don't know.
Well, I think a personal example from my life is my son, Will, is just really a sweet individual. And and when he was a teenager in particular, he was absolutely fearless and loved speed. And so there's a road here in the local neighborhood. Speed limit is 35 miles an hour, about 50 kilometers. And he was doing about 50 kilometers an hour. And he was doing like 130 in it, 120 in a 50 kilometer. It was more than twice the speed limit. And so
Fortunately, he got a ticket.
instead of going to jail, and afterwards I said, look, you know, like he was driving my car when he did it, and I was like, you know, it's not even punishment at this point. It's just your judgment is
Protection.
your judgment is so bad that you can't drive a car for years.
Yeah.
And so he went like 2 years without driving a car, and then it's kind of funny because he finally said, well, has it been long enough? Can I drive the car? And I was like, and talked about it with his mother, and I was like, oh, okay, well, it's been years. Why don't you go drive the car?
Of your mom.
Well, actually, you know, I mean, apparently I hadn't learned my lesson. And so he takes the car keys, and about 30 minutes later, he calls back and he goes, Dad, the car has a flat tire. The tires are new. What do you mean flat tire? He goes, yeah, there's two flat tires. He'd gone around a corner so fast.
Yeah, he was
That-
like,
that-
you know, this police type of turns.
The first time in the car, 30 minutes later, he'd gone around a corner in the neighborhood so fast that he slid and hit the curb and knocked the wheels off the car. And so then it was like, you know, I was like, well, okay, that's it, guy. You know, it's like, first of all, you got to pay to fix the car, but more importantly, you're not driving for another 2 years. It wasn't even punishment. It's just he had no judgment. And so in that case, giving my son access to the car would be foolish, right? You're not helping him. Like normally you'd think you give somebody access to a nice automobile, that's something virtuous. If they don't have the judgment to drive it safely, you're not helping them.
Yeah,
And
you're hurting.
So in that case, that was
I mean, he is more reasonable now, but still 1 year ago, I was thinking I misheard what I heard from the discussion between Bill and Will, because I was in Japan and I hear them talking about Will climbing on the mountain Fuji in December. It's like Fujiyama in December, it's just flat, like one piece ice on top. It's pretty high. I mean, it's not very high. Probably like Haverla in Ukraine in the summer is a nice walk, but in December they close the mountain in September to April or May for the reason prohibited.
Because nobody can climb it safely. And Will was determined. He was like, well, I'm going to climb Mount Fuji. Like, well, it's closed. And we go, well, people die in the winter climbing it. Like, well, I'm going to go. And he was pretty determined.
I was horrified when I heard it. I was like, why are you even discussing this with him? Like, do you have a some that you don't need, you know, like an excessive extra one?
Well, and so you know, anyway, yeah, Will. So giving a person like that access to a car is not smart.
Okay, now four objects, four things that make the object of the giving more powerful, right? Because
and I should say, my son's like, he's a beautiful person, right? He made great grades in college. He's a great athlete. He's a really sweet person. He's just got this no danger
He has
flaw.
bodhisattva vows,
Yeah,
so
he want,
he thinks about how the world functions a lot, but yeah,
yeah. So,
even sun has spots.
yeah.
Okay, so the object of the given can also be different, and you can choose your object of the given wisely to get better results.
And by object of the giving, we mean
A person.
the recipient, right? Like what's receiving the gift. So we've had the person giving, the active giving. This is the third section, the recipient, excuse me, of the giving.
So by the type, first is Jova in Tibetan, which is strange enough, it's like wandering sentient beings or something like that means, right? So by the type, humans are better than animals because they are higher karmic objects. Any human has a potential to reach enlightenment within one lifetime. And unfortunately, animals cannot. They are also beings. They can be humans next time. But in this particular life, they cannot reach enlightenment. So this is why the given to a human is more important.
That's a hard one for me because humans can be really horrible. And you see dogs that just have a heart of gold, that are just like, you know, that they're just heroes, right? And so that one, but I guess.
But there is a trick how to think. Let's talk after.
All right.
There is a trick.
Okay.
One of my best friends is a veterinary person, and she shared with me what she thinks.
Okay. And there are stories of horrible people who have had a conversion later in life and have gotten enlightened, like Angulimala.
Angulimala, the guy who heard Aaron teaching that he needs to cut fingers from people reach nirvana, arhats, and if he will get 1,000, then he will reach enlightenment.
Yeah, so I think that's more a statement on the value of the potential to be able to reach enlightenment. So it's more of a commentary on enlightenment than the relative merits of a horrible human being or a hero dog, right?
Yeah. And what else I wanted to say? Yeah, a person can be converted. Like also another hero of our teachings is Milarepa. He killed a lot of human beings because he was a black magician. He studied how to put a spell and poison, etc. And then he had really hard time to purify these seeds, of course, but he made it. If he made it, we can make it. So then, Duknyal, the second one, suffering. A person who is sick, like my love, today I'm a very high karmic object because I feel completely sick.
Каждый день и целый день можно.
Not каждый, not each day, but today, yeah. So a sick person or in pain or like somebody who is suffering right now is or is in great need is a good karmic object. Then Penpa, assistance, somebody who helped you already. Like if you have your parents, probably they will be the best karmic objects for you.
And there was an interesting...
Nobody helped more, right?
Well, you could say like somebody who taught you a lot of about enlightenment would be a very high object. And what's interesting about this is that and there's the discussion that was in the Abhidharma Kosha, which makes you wonder how it would be in the Abhidharma Kosha from 2,000 years ago. But the discussion is it's not even what the person did, what your mother did after you were born. It's simply the fact that you were conceived as a human. And so there's a discussion in the Abhidharma Kosha where they're talking about who had done the greater virtue. If you had an egg that was conceived in one lady and then transferred to another lady, and gave birth to you and raised you, who would be the greater object of those two? And surprisingly enough, it's the person who gave birth to you initially, or where you were conceived initially, was considered to be the higher object. And so and I think it's a similar emphasis as in a horrible human or a good animal. It's that initial ability that happens, the initial ability to achieve enlightenment. That's the greatest thing. All the, the food and the care and the love and the education, those are, they're extremely important, but it was the initial potential to be a human being that was the greatest merit. So
yeah, that was spent by assistance or help, somebody who helped you a lot. Also, I mean, if you do not have your spiritual teacher, these are your parents. If you do have your spiritual teacher, then your spiritual teacher is your highest karmic object. This is why we are speeding up so fast when we are around our teachers. The karma is just going wild. And the fourth one, Yonten, good qualities.
Is that the same Yonten as our teacher? Is that the exact same word?
Good qualities, yeah.
So his name was good qualities.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
With our teacher, he was one of the best students at Sarame Monastery when we went in October, and he taught us debate in the afternoons after lunch when we were super sleepy. And his name was Yonten.
Yeah.
A very nice man. So
somebody who has high spiritual qualities is a high karmic object. I don't know if we need to go further in this. I mean, for example, can be your teacher, can be a person who reached something on this path, became a realized being recently. There is a list of people.
Yeah, if somebody had the direct perception of emptiness in your lifetime, then giving, they're an Arya. Giving to that person with those kind of high spiritual qualities would be better than giving to just an ordinary person. And even there, right, like they're already out. They're going to leave samsara, definitely. But giving to them, it's still more powerful than giving to an ordinary being.
Right. Okay, so then imagine you have used all these fine things to enhance your karma. Your karma can be not only committed, but also collected. It is called Jela Sakpo. And there are six things that help you to see what it means committed and collected. It means that you have planted a very strong backcheck, very strong seed. It means that you will see the result faster, right? This lifetime.
Yeah, this is like a really important.
Very important, yeah. Everything is important, but this is like, you want to see the results? You better listen how to make it happen.
Yeah.
So first, you should do it intentionally. And here we have an anti-example. I mean, somebody did something bad, and let's think that it was intentional, some Shinto, right? Second, you have completed all the 4 parts of the complete karma path. Object, intention, the action was taken and completed, meaning you are happy about what you have done.
These are, again, a reference again to a complete path of karma, the 4 steps of DCI. Decide what you want, find somebody who needs it and make a plan, to do it, actually do the deed, take the action, and be happy about it, rejoice about it. So that's a complete path of karma, or the DCI 4 steps. And frankly, I mean, we've seen people use just those 4 steps as their main piece of knowledge and accomplish dramatic things with it. I mean, we've seen people, if you don't understand cause and effect, you'd think it was miraculous, frankly. So
And if you do, then you just think it's logical.
Logical and still miraculous.
Miraculous.
It's a logical miracle.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's really beautiful.
So you had some strong thinking about it, right? Intentionally thinking. Then you have completed 4 steps. Leki yen lak dzogpa, complete all the parts. They say then migyupa, you never had any regret about what you have done. You're glad you have done it. You would do it again.
That's the one I have a challenge with. I will be very generous, and then later when I don't have any money, I have a hard time not regretting it. So anyway, and then you're just weakening the original action. You're like, oh, okay,
Right.
you were so good initially, and then you regretted it, and it's like weakening it. You know, it's like, I didn't really mean to be that generous. And so then, you know, makes sense.
Be a little bit less generous and more happy.
Seriously, you'll plant a stronger seed if you're less generous,
but more happy.
But more happy. Right.
Yeah. Okay, then you didn't do any antidote, like no counteraction, like imagine that you have done something bad and you have never done anything against it, no antidote, then probably it will ripen, right? Quite fast.
And so this is referring obviously to a negative action, right? Like, oh, I got angry at my wife and I yelled at her, and then I didn't do the 4 powers. I didn't take the 4 steps to clean up a negative action. And I think in class 11, we're going to talk about the 4 powers again, but we've already talked about them.
We did. Yeah, we did. Yeah, or like maybe you have done something good, but then out of, I don't know, you regretted what you have done something opposite. It also may weaken quite a bit your karmic seeds. Nienpo mepa. This is without antidote. Then you think that you have done something great.
So number 5.
Number 5 is the deed comes with the necessary attendance. Meaning
you were happy.
Meaning you are happy about what you have done. Kordan chepa. And the 6th one is not actually it is called the definite karmic result, right? Namin nyon nye.
Namin nyon nye.
The deed is of the type which is certain to ripen. If you have done everything previous, or you haven't done anything previous, then the deed will ripen.
Yeah, that's a very Tibetan Indian type approach to a list, where they list 1 through 5, and then they say, well, number 6 is all 5 together. Like, well,
yeah.
Okay,
number 6 is it will ripen if you haven't done the previous 5.
Yeah, they don't think in quite the same uniform square compartments that Westerners do. So, but that's it. And I can tell you, I mean, we've seen, and I think, and I don't want to keep going back over the examples, but we've seen people take this knowledge and fix huge problems in their lives. We've seen people take this knowledge and, fix major life-threatening health issues. We've seen people take this and create millions of dollars quickly. We've seen people
not talking about relationship.
In fact, in relationships, frankly, I would say almost everybody that I know who has a relationship that I admire is aware of these points. And I've seen people, have beautiful relationships and sustain them, and really be joyful using an awareness of these. And it doesn't even have to be that technical, right? I mean, frankly, Abraham Lincoln was one of the greatest leaders in the history of the world. And he had, without any formal Buddhist training, a strong understanding of these type of principles that, the actions you take towards somebody else are going to come back to you. And he really had a dramatic effect on it, a dramatic positive effect on his work.
Yeah. So now you can review all these points that we have discussed today and apply in your life, because this is the point. It's not just theory, it should become your practice.
Yeah.
And it will not make it, the class will not make it unless you will do homeworks and quizzes and meditations and the final exam. It will not stay for a long time with you. So
yeah, please do the homeworks. It's and the quizzes and the meditations that go with it. Ina's right. You won't retain it unless you do. And if you do all of the work, you will retain it.
yeah. Okay. So, and with this, we have one short surprise. Artyom, are you ready? Because we want to thank our volunteers. We want to share a video with our volunteers. If you are interested, you can join our volunteers team. Any audio with this? So we cannot do anything without you guys, so we are very grateful.
Very grateful
For you. And I think these people are very smart, because becoming a volunteer was the first thing I have done when I joined ACI, and I'm sure I would not be able to finish, and I would not be able to understand as much as I do these teachings without helping other people to understand these teachings.
And the volunteers today will be the leaders tomorrow, and the teachers. And
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, guys, we were not aware that there is music. So what we want to say is thank you very much, volunteers, translators. You are amazing. We cannot do anything without you. Please stay, but don't get to burn out. And becoming a volunteer was the first thing I have done when I joined these classes, and I think it was the smartest thing I have done, because you will need karma to finish these classes to understand it.
Yeah, and I've seen it. The people who volunteer now will be the teachers in the future,
and the leaders of this world.
and the world needs it badly. There's so much ignorance in the world, and it's painful to see. And this is teaching these classes and studying this information and helping wisdom to have a place in this world.
We need your help.
It's the most important thing we can do.
Yeah, and we need your help, and you need these seeds.
Yeah.
So there will be one more live with answers to all the questions. Volunteers are mainly women. Yeah, that's a very interesting thing. I mean, if you will think a little bit, in Tibet there were mostly men, and now we have women. I think it's a good change, because we need female energy on this planet. I don't know if you feel it as much as I feel.
Yeah, the planet's lopsided towards male, and it's causing pain and problems. And frankly, women are more associated with wisdom than men are, which is a different discussion. But
I think it's a good thing that we have a lot of women now.
Yeah, very much needed.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for spending time with us. We don't do the final prayer because we have an unfinished activity.
Unfinished business.
Unfinished business, which is the next course.
Thank you, everybody, for being here.